Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And where are we today, Corinne?
We are at Silver Falls State Park in Oregon.
And what are we doing?
We are taking some photographs of the waterfalls. We're at the North Falls today, which is on the north end of the perimeter trail. And there's about 11 different waterfalls along the perimeter trail.
And today, one of the reasons we're here is it's an overcast, high cloud with a little bit of sun shining through, so it's a perfect day for waterfalls.
Yes, and there's several that we're going to try and visit today and enjoy the walks and the lovely forest trails.
So we hope you enjoy the video. Buckle up and let's go. Our first destination was the Upper North Falls, which is just a short walk from the parking lot. So Corinne and I are at this little falls. It's called the North Falls, and it's a very tiny falls, and it's much wider than some of the other ones. So we're here on the lower banks looking up at the falls, and the goal here is to actually capture the falls with some nice milky water coming down the falls. And the way we do that is, the first thing we do is we put on a polarizer, and we use the polarizer to cut the glare down on the rocks. Then we tend to turn up our f-stop to f22, our ISO down to 100, and what I'm trying to do is get my shutter speed to between a half a second and 1 second. I like it to be around about 0.8, because that's where I like to have the nice glossy, silky water, but there's still definition in the photograph and in the water. So we have the shot set up with this long log in the front of the photograph right in there with the falls in the background. Now the area up to the left in the falls is very, very bright. So we're actually focusing in such that the falls are such that the photograph is right at the top of the falls and not trying to get any of the light. The other thing we're having to wait for is every once in a while the sun shines through and it lights up the left-hand side of the falls, which makes the photograph from a light balance point of view quite unbalanced. So we have to wait until it goes back behind another cloud and then take a shot. I'm also using the little rocks that are way right about there in the shots as well to give us some foreground.
Depending on how you set up your polarizer, you can get more or less reflection of the falls in the pool of water in the front. So when the polarizer is more off, there's more reflection. When we add more polarizer, we get less reflection. From the front of the falls, there's a bit of a rocky shoreline here that you can follow and come out to a more distant location. And in this location, there's more rocks that are in front of the falls. And also from here, you can capture a little bit of this set of trees that are off to the left that have a lovely light green color for the new growth for the spring season. So I've changed my composition to include this, and so my picture looks more like this with some green branches coming into the left side of the picture and some of those rocks in the foreground.
So a couple more tips when you're photographing a waterfall like this. Often the greenery in front of you makes a nice foreground or a nice frame for the waterfall, but you usually have to make a decision that you do two photographs, one of the waterfall at the right exposure and one at a much higher exposure to get the greenery. I tend to like the greenery so it's slightly out of focus and slightly soft. I just think the green band makes a nice frame. The second thing you need to be very aware of when you come back and shoot from back here is the left-hand side right over here is actually quite a bit brighter than the waterfall. And what you'll find if you shoot this on a landscape format, you'll find that the left side of your photograph may actually have its highlights blown out because it's actually quite a bit brighter than you think when you take an exposure of half to a second. So a couple things to keep in mind when you come to take a photograph of waterfall. Well, this beauty hidden back behind the trees here is called North Falls. I think I called the other one North Falls. It's the Upper North Falls. This is actually North Falls. You can actually walk all the way around behind this one, and in the cave behind the falls, the sound is absolutely deafening. So I've tried several shots here. It's gotten quite bright from a sun perspective, and it's making it really challenging to get some shots, but it's absolutely gorgeous location. So I'm trying to do something a little artistic here. I'm trying to use the trees on the left and the right to frame the shot and actually let the light, there's some light up behind me here that is making these leaves in front of me glow, and then take shots of the leaves. I'm actually focused on the leaves, allowing the water in the background just blur out a little bit. Hopefully that'll look really nice. Not sure how it'll come out, but it's just kind of an experiment. And that's what it looks like on the back of the camera. And that's what the shot actually looks like.
We're here again at Silver Falls State Park, and it's our second day of visiting. A little bit overcast today, some sun breaking through, so we'll see how this goes. We were at the North Falls yesterday.
And today we're at the South Falls. So a couple different falls today, and we'll just have to see what the day brings.
Yep, maybe a little mountain trail. We're hoping to be here a little bit before the crowds, even though it's midweek. There's been lots of other hikers out here.
Boy, it sure has. That's something to keep in mind if you're coming out to photograph. Is the place is very, very busy, and we need to be pretty efficient when we actually go out and try to photograph. And Corinne and I have found this beautiful little orchard So it's distracted us from shooting waterfalls for a little while as we shoot the blossoms and the beautiful trees in the orchard. So the pièce de résistance in the orchard is this absolutely gorgeous tree. I have no idea whether it's a cherry tree or an apple tree or just what it is, but it's absolutely beautiful in the blooms right now. It's become a little hard to photograph because the sun is on half of it and then the other half was in the shade. Fortunately, we got here early enough so that we were able to photograph most of it in the shade. And there's our friend Mary. Say hi, Mary. Wave. Mary's also doing some video of the tree. There's a phenomenally beautiful old stone building over here that's a picnic area. Corinne's working on a shot right now where it is using that beautiful, interesting trunk up through the front of the photograph, and then she's using the beautiful pink flowers, pinky white flowers in the background to just highlight the trunk. There's a little light on the flowers in the background, so they're a little brighter. And it may be a little bit challenging to get the trunk with enough definition and not blowing out the back, but Corinne's working on that right now. It should be a beautiful shot. Corinne and I are walking down the wet, narrow, slippery trail. We're going to do some shooting from the bottom, maybe even from behind the falls.
So we're at the South Fall here on the Canyon Rim Trail, and this one has a nice clear view of the falls. We can't see the bottom, but we can see where the falls tumble over the top, which means that you don't have to get so much sky looking to the top. You're more eye level with the top area. And I'm doing both a landscape orientation and a portrait orientation. I like the landscape orientation because there's a big sweep of rocks that's on either side of the falls, and it gives you a context for how the falls have carved out and created the rocky exposures.
By the time we finished those photographs and walked down to the bottom of the South Falls, the sunshine had really broken out, and the falls were in deep, deep shadow behind a very, very bright area around it. So we chose not to shoot those falls today.
Well, that about wraps up our trip to Silver Falls. We enjoyed it. There was a lot more to see, but you know, you have limited time and only the right weather conditions make it worth taking the pictures.
Well, Corinne's absolutely right. We saw 3 of the 10 falls, which means that we're going to have to come back, which is great. Unfortunately, the weatherman got the weather all wrong this morning. He said it would be cloudy all day, heavy overcast, and in fact, actually, it's a bright, beautiful blue sky, which makes the waterfalls very, very hard to photograph.
But we really enjoyed it, and it's a beautiful location. We're very glad we came.
Well, this brings this video to an end. We sure hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, could you give us a thumbs up? That always really helps us.
And if you would like to see more of our videos, perhaps you'd consider subscribing.
We always appreciate our subscribers, and as the channel grows, more people get an opportunity to see it. And if you could actually share the video, that would really be helpful as well.
And when you want to know when new videos go up, you can hit that notification bell down below.
And as always, we love hearing from you. So if you have a thought, comment, an idea, please put it in the comment section down below. We respond to all of them. Thanks so much, and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye for now.